Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video over here on the Tesla guy. So yeah, as we talked about yesterday, I mean, we're so far getting pretty accurate with these predictions off of this run, and then I predicted a drop, though the drop was heavier than I thought, but nonetheless it was a drop. And then I was saying how I don't want to see it drop below 1,000 especially, but you know, 1020 roughly especially too, right? So taking a look at the chart. So first of all, end of the day, 1.75% up, pretty much at 1050 per share, 1049.61. So at the very beginning of the day, this was kind of scary, I'll be honest, because you can see in the pre-market, it was actually selling off quite aggressively. It went all the way down to 997, which is under 1,000, which is fine to go under 1,000. The main thing I said is I don't want to close under 1,000. It did get pushed up pretty quickly right into open and just right back over 1,000, which is around here pretty fast. And then we opened the market. This is where I was getting kind of suspicious because we opened the day with the pretty much opened the day with the RSI being in oversold territory, right? Oversold being essentially above 70. It's considered pretty much oversold. And that's where we opened the day on. So I thought, I was pretty sus. I'm not gonna lie. I thought this was gonna be just a straight sell-off down to at least and then somewhere in the nines again, maybe like 980. Like that's what I was expecting, but we somehow actually still, even though this RSI being completely overbought, still pushed up all the way to 1050, which is actually quite impressive. And then we maintained this just throughout the whole day, which I did think today will be a pretty flat day, and it pretty much was a flat day almost all the throughout the whole day, just nothing too crazy happening. And then we rallied into close and pretty much ended off with a beautiful close. Still underneath this little channel over here we have on this bull flag, which we're once again in. But honestly, this is a good close. I'm actually very happy with this close. I think this is kind of what we wanted to see, in all honesty. And also, if you take a look at the 15-minute chart, I actually noticed something kind of interesting, I guess. We're sitting in this like kind of a bull flag, if you will, because let me remove this thing here. So if you kind of started off on this little like rally from all the way back here, so we rallied up again. This is kind of pushing it in my opinion, right? Because you can argue that this was the bull flag right here, but you can still technically, in my opinion, make the argument that the rally was from here to here. This ended up being the actual top, in my opinion, and then off of that we're creating this bull flag. So if you like draw out the lines, for instance, you can see here, right? It's like a bit of a, here, I'll make the lines like a little different color so you guys can kind of see it a bit easier. We'll make it a nice big blue one for now. Right, you can kind of see this like little bull flag kind of forming, something like this, I guess, something like that, give or take, right? I'm not gonna draw the most perfect one ever, but the point is you get the rough idea, right? But a little bit of a bull flag happening over here. So it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're not really touching the fourth part. So you don't have to do a 5-point touch. Usually it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't necessarily have to do that, but it is still a way to look at it. So it kind of forming this little weird bull flag, but I think this one's a bit of a stretch. I just thought I would throw that out just as like an interesting point, I guess, something that I kind of noticed, if you will. But either way, I'm very happy with this close. I will admit, this is essentially the close that we wanted to see. This is pretty much going to confirm that I think we're good to go for up until earnings. We might open up with a little red, in all honesty. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit more red. But again, I would be legitimately surprised if we fall below 1020. So maybe a little bit more red down to like, you know, 1040, 1035, and then after that I think we're going to break through and start running into earnings. Because also taking a look at the indices, pretty nice close on the indices as well. SPY ended up closing above yesterday's close, which is good, just barely honestly, but nonetheless still above it, which is fine. So it did kind of bounce off this channel once again. QQQ also setting up this own little bull flag over here, straight up, touch point 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Held this little area, so held this overall uptrend you can see for the QQQ, right, which is very healthy, which is really good, pretty much hovering around the 150 moving average. And on top of that, it is still kind of within this little bull flag, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then off of this, I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of red again here, maybe to like 378-ish. And assuming that holds, I think we're just going to be off into earnings. And I think earnings are pretty bullish for Q4 in general, in my opinion. Of course, not financial advice, as usual. Do your own research, make your own decisions. But yeah, all in all, I'm actually quite happy with Tesla's close here. So far we've been pretty accurate with our predictions. So far we've been saying exactly what's been happening almost to the T. The general movement, I guess, has been pretty correct so far. So I'm happy about that. And hopefully you guys have been benefiting off of that as well. So if you guys have, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff, guys. It does help a lot. Would very much appreciate it. But all in all, nice close. I'm very happy with this. Next week should be nice. Again, earnings coming up in just about a week and a half. Don't forget, Monday is closed, guys. There is no market open on Monday, so keep that in mind. So Tuesday will be the first day that we open up, and I think from then on, it's looking pretty good. I'm overall still pretty bullish. I gotta sneeze. Let me mute the mic. Excuse me. All right. So yeah, overall looking pretty bullish going into earnings, and I'm pretty excited. The only thing that's not, I guess, ideal, I guess, is the fact that the MACD did cross under, and we're still setting slightly lower lows here, but it's nothing. I personally don't think it's concerning. I don't really like the MACD that much. Maybe in the weekly it's okay, but I'm not a huge fan of the MACD personally. But taking a look at the weekly, actually, so we are still technically in this bull flag on the weekly like this. You can see we never really closed above it on the weekly, which is something to consider. We ended up closing right underneath it, but it's still also a 5-point touch point. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Sometimes it does like a 5 mini drawback into a push out. That is pretty common too. I've seen that quite often. So expecting this to break out probably next week and into earnings. And overall, yeah, I think it's looking not bad. But again, the main thing stays, as I've always been saying, we want ideally 1020 to hold, and especially 1000, and we don't want to drop. If we drop below 980, we're probably anytime, like literally intraday, decent chance we're coming down to gap fill on 940. But as long as we don't close below 1000, and especially 1020, that's looking pretty good. So keep that in mind, guys. Overall, not looking too bad. I'm pretty happy, and I'm so far, fairly bullish going into next week and into earnings, which is obviously really good news. So let's talk about some news over here for Tesla as well. So you can see Tesla Model Y long range gets range increase in Germany up to 565/533 kilometers from 507. I'm not sure how many miles that is. Maybe like the low 400s or high 300s miles. I'm not really sure about. I live in Canada, so we use kilometers here as well. I'm not really sure how that translates to miles, but nonetheless, nice little upgrade for the Model Y long range there. Always nice to have extra range. Can't hurt, right? Following that, we have Tesla expands the Gigafactory in Nevada, which is their battery Gigafactory, the solar array, towards the goal of becoming the world's biggest. Now, Tesla Solar, of course, is something that no one talks about, right? Everyone's focused on their, actual car itself, the business, a little bit of the software with FSD and whatnot, but pretty much no one even remembers the solar business. That's a sleeping giant, guys. I'm just saying. In the future, a few years down the road, man, that is a sleeping giant. Just wait for that one to pop out. Oof, it's going to be insane. Moving along, we have RBC capital analyst Joseph Spack. He raised his price target on Tesla to 1045 from 1005. I mean, thought I'd mention it regardless. I mean, a raise is a raise. It's a pretty, I don't know, not the best raise in all honesty. It's a very safe raise. But I thought I'd mention it regardless because either way, a price upgrade is still a price upgrade. Following that, we have Gary Black saying that sources tell me Tesla is pushing hard to begin production at Austin and Berlin by the 26th of this month, which is essentially right at earnings. Yeah, earnings is the 26th. Assuming this happens and assuming Tesla beats on fourth quarter earnings, which they will, I expect the fiscal year of 22 volumes, which he has, I think this is Wall Street's estimate, which is 1.3 million, and EPS of 9.2 to increase 10 to 15% after 4Q earnings. I'm almost positive these are the Wall Street estimates, not his. So yeah, he's pretty much saying that this is going to be going up, especially after earnings. I mean, they have to increase these after, and especially the EPS after earnings, man, come on. Following that, we have all signs pointing to Tesla starting Giga Berlin deliveries in March, but kind of contradicts what he said here, in all honesty. But again, this is production and this is delivery. So, I mean, it is different technically. We'll see. Either way, it's looking imminent. And that's the good thing about it overall. Following that, we have Elon will be visiting Giga Berlin this Sunday, which is the 16th of January, which is actually quite good. And this is the first time he's visited Giga Berlin since October, which could be a pretty good sign that maybe they are like legitimately just right around the corner to finally beginning, essentially running the factory and starting it up and, getting the production started and all that good stuff. And just really, getting the ball rolling, which is exciting. And then to kind of work off of that, I found this picture over here of Giga Berlin, posted by Mr. Tobias Lind. You can see the Giga Berlin, a lot of Model Ys lined up over here, right? The Model Ys are starting to get lined up. I think these were the ones that were made to like be a test, essentially. They're all performance, actually. You can see the calipers. So they're all performance Model Ys, but I think these are the ones that are made to be like a test. Yeah, so you can see the red caliper there a bit. I'm pretty sure these are all, maybe most of them performance, but doesn't matter. Either way, bunch of Model Ys from Giga Berlin, probably as a test production, which looks good to me so far. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty excited, guys. Again, I'm bullish going into the rest of this month. Most of the negative catalysts are out of the way. I think we have one FOMC meeting left, like in about a week and a half or something like that. The week of Tesla's earnings. I think it's like, I can't remember the exact date. I think it was the 25th of January or something like that. But I think that's like the final thing to potentially bring us down in this market, in my opinion. But other than that, guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace, peace, peace.